Hey, it's Mr. Malte. I'm here on a Chromebook. Let's get going with a little bit of Chromebook review. You might know some of this stuff. That's okay. Some of the stuff you might not. So, let's look first at just reminding you how to scroll on the Chromebooks. Two fingers. It's not a snake bite. It's more bunny ears. Straight up and down. Do that scrolling. They see me scrolling. Practice that up. Teachers might want to pause. Just ask your students, do you know any other ways to scroll? Who knows some scrolling? I know arrows up and down. And the sidebar. And maybe the super ninjas out there got the space bar down at the bottom. Bet you didn't know hold down the shift key and space bar brings you back to the top. So just make sure that scrolling is, you got it down. They see me scrolling. Okay. Some other ways to scroll. Cool. Remember, up here in our browser, we have the X to close the window. We have our minimize halfway, and then we have minimize all the way down. One of my pet peeves is this, seeing people just kind of like working with a tiny little screen. Like, I don't know why you're doing this. Just make it full screen. Make it full screen. Now, let's minimize. My friends, minimize. Teachers again, pause, whole class, get them all doing it. And on this page, once we're all minimized, Chris, minimize. Let's go. We're waiting for you. Okay. On this page, can you practice? Right click, single finger left click. So 2 fingers, make the box pop up. 1 finger, make it disappear. And this, it's just the conductivity of your fingers. This can be absolutely silent. So try doing it 0 sound. Like a ninja. Don't just do 2 fingers, because later on, when you open up those white boxes with a right click, a single click is what's going to get rid of them. So you want to get in the habit of 2 fingers, 1 finger, 2 fingers, 1 finger gets rid of stuff. Okay. Change your wallpaper. Customize it. Make it awesome. So spend some time. Give it a pause. Make me stop talking. Good luck. Press pause and get your wallpapers rock and rolling. Then come on back. Okay. Got a good wallpaper? Boom, let's get Chrome back open. Beach ball opens and closes too, that Chrome symbol down there. This is called your shelf down here. There's your Chrome symbol. You might have some other ones down here. You can add things to that shelf. There's apps from your apps launcher, which is this thing right down there. Apps launcher. There's some really cool new things in here. Actually, I'll probably talk about it later. The screencast that's in there. So good. Okay. Got your right click, got your wallpaper. You are awesome. Let's look at some of these, tabs that we have going on. You might even want to, open some random link. And how do you get back home? We always have that home page. We have these tabs up here. We can move tabs. We can reorganize tabs. Right? Just like that. One thing that you might not be aware of is that you can right-click on a tab to get more features, like muting it. If you got a noisy page when you want to keep it open, but it's got some background music or something, you can mute it. You can also pin. So if you're working on something and don't want to close it by accident, you can right-click and pin a tab, which is awesome. So try doing that. Try pinning a tab. Try moving tabs around. And then one more thing, one of my favorite things to do is if you accidentally, you're working on something, you close that page because you're too clicky like me, Control-Shift-T opens those things back up. Control-Shift-T opens up the last things. So Control-Shift-T when you close something by accident. Teachers, this is such an important shortcut. You close classroom, instead of going all the way back, Control-Shift-T will get you back to where you were. So practice those things, and you can unpin, and I'll keep, even if you close a whole browser, Control-Shift-T will open that stuff back up. All right? Cool. Go ahead and practice that. Give me a pause. And then I'll talk about one last thing, I think. Okay, so sometimes you might want to work on 2 things. So, if I have my tabs, I can actually drag a tab off and go Alt square bracket. Square bracket's next to the letter P. And you can zoom those 2 square brackets. 3 times makes it go down. And then you can go to your other one, Alt, other square bracket, so it'll go side by side on a Chromebook. So instead of tab switching all the time, you can resize these windows. It's kind of fun. You can actually resize them both if you wait and get that little black thing with the two arrows. Resize them the way you want them. All right. So that is the split screen on a Chromebook. Awesome. You can practice that. Moving right along. I think we've changed it so that you can't get a ton of keyboards, but you might have several keyboards. Control, Shift, Spacebar swaps between the keyboards you have installed. On this account, I only have the US keyboard. If I'm typing in English, I want to use the US keyboard. If I'm typing in French, I can use International. I think that's what Madame Cote said was her favorite anyway. But so if you're using French, you might want to use International. Otherwise, the US English is the one to use because the other ones have different symbols. Like if you have GB on there, that's Great Britain. They have a different symbol for the at. So Control Shift Spacebar. See if you have other keyboards installed. You got something weird going on there. We'll see. Got it? Control Shift Spacebar. Maybe like, I got no keyboards. Well, if you have no other keyboards and you want them, you have to go in and manage your inputs, right? Your language inputs. So, moving right along, just like Kermit and Fozzie. So one thing you might have at the start of the year, it's a bunch of bookmarks. Or maybe you're like, I don't see any bookmarks. Control Shift B opens and closes our bookmarks bar. Don't do it a million times like I just did. So if you want to add something, you can do it with the star that's over here. You can just, my favorite is just drag it down. So if I go to a site like Google Classroom, I gotta change that to light mode. And I go into my class and I want to add this as a bookmark. I just drag the lock right onto my bookmarks bar where I want it. Right? And then if I want to change that, I'm like, I know this is Classroom. I can right click and edit, backspace, and save. Right click, edit, backspace, save. Right click, edit, backspace, save. And now I have just the little symbol. You can move those around, little favicon there. Then a right click and a delete. We'll get rid of it if you want, if you have a whole bunch of stuff from last year. So practice that. Right click, delete old ones that you have. This might take a while. Grab new ones like Classroom, maybe a reading program you have. And if you have extra ones, just even if you put something twice by accident, it's really easy just to right click and delete. Teachers, if you have some insane bookmarks like I do on my teacher account, you can go into the bookmarks manager and you can delete a whole bunch of things and organize all at once. So you can do a bunch of different tasks with a bunch of different things like this and delete all three. Get rid of all these bookmarks all at once. That bookmarks manager, students too, maybe you want to go to that bookmarks if you have a lot of them. Bookmarks manager, rock that out. Give me a pause so I stop talking for a second. Whew. Organize your bookmarks, rock that out. Right? Okay, we'll see in a little bit. All right, we all good? One other thing. Okay, extensions. We should have read-write pushed out to all students, so you'll see those up here. If you ever need to pin an extension, you can click on these and they'll get pinned up there. I don't know if you have the same ones as me, but that's how you pin extensions or unpin extensions by right-clicking. Right? There's the box pops up. One finger gets rid of it. Anywhere you're on a page. There we go. So check out those extensions. Chrome is often out of date. So again, we're going to go down to our settings. And there's our little settings gear. And over here on the About Chrome OS. And this is your current build, which I think is actually up to date. 105 I think is the latest as of whatever date, September 13th. Check for updates. Chromebook's up to date, or it might say, it's downloading update and there'll be a restart button. You don't have to wait on this page, but just so you know, like that's what you should be doing. Checking those updates, making sure your Chrome is up to date because there's been big releases in the last little while especially. So just make sure your Chromebook's up to date. So go to your settings, About Chrome OS, check it, restart it if you have to. All right, down in your settings. Boom. One thing we have done is we have pushed out something called the dictation. And that means that you can type with your voice anywhere. So you might know on Docs that you can do that. But if I go to slides.new, brand new slideshow, I'm going to go into Customize Chrome for just a sec. Color and theme. There, just going to a light mode. Couldn't see anything. Okay, Customize Chrome. You can do that too. I don't like it dark. Okay, so if I have my slideshow open and I click here, I can go to the little microphone. So I went to the slides.new down at the bottom. I'm clicking into a box, just a text box. I am typing with my voice, exclamation point. Boom. Right? So read write only works in the body of Docs or in the speaker notes of slides, but this little, hi, I am a microphone, that works everywhere, exclamation point. That works everywhere. There's also, once we have this turned on, that means all the other accessibility features are right here. So if your Chromebook is doing weird things, if it's got that Chromevox, it's talking to you or weird stuff's happening, that's where you can just go into this accessibility and you can turn things on and off, like magnifier, automatic clicks, all this sort of stuff. It's also where you can go in and make your mouse a little bit more fancy. So you want to change the size of your mouse, you want to change the mouse color, highlight the mouse, all that sort of stuff is in here, right? And there's additional settings in the big menu, right? When you go into the big menu and you search for accessibility. So there you go. Lots of stuff in there. So practice that voice typing with the little dictation button in a slide. Okay? All right. Okay, that's all I think I want to cover with browser. That was a long enough video and it was kind of fast. But I have another video with skills in particular in slides, so your teacher can go on to that in the next lesson. So good luck.